You don't need acres, endless free time, or a fancy setup to grow real food. In fact, these 20 small garden hacks prove just the opposite. Whether you're growing on a patio or squeezing beds into a backyard corner, these clever tricks will help you grow more, waste less, and make the most out of every inch without burning out. I've been growing food organically for a couple decades in different size spaces and in 2 very different climates, and these are the real-life strategies I use to grow a high-yield garden that feeds my family even in a smaller space. And if you're not sure what to plant for the biggest impact, I put together a free guide with 25 high-value crops that are easy to grow and preserve, and it's linked below for you. Now let's jump into the 20 small space garden hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. Grow vertically. When space is tight, growing up instead of out can easily increase your garden area. Trellises, cages, and vertical planters make it possible. Binding crops like pole beans, peas, cucumbers, and squash naturally climb, but vertical planters open up even more possibilities, from herbs and salad greens to strawberries, root veggies, and even compact peppers and tomatoes. I haven't personally tried a green stalk yet, but I know that they are super efficient, and the built-in water vessels make it easy to water all the tiers at once. Use irrigation systems. Drip irrigation or soaker hoses with timers can save you hours of watering and help prevent disease by keeping soil and moisture off of the leaves. You'll waste less water, and your plants are going to thrive with the deep, consistent watering they really need. There are plenty of systems out there to fit any budget or setup. I like rain point timers because they let you fine-tune your watering schedule by time of day and even control how much water goes to each bed. They also make a solar-powered system that's great for containers. And yes, irrigation systems and timers work just as well in containers as they do in big garden beds. Use grow bags. Grow bags are portable, breathable, and perfect for growing just about any crop. I just planted potatoes the other day. They come in a range of sizes, but I recommend sticking to 15 gallons or smaller because I've used 20-gallon ones before, and once they're filled up with soil, they're nearly impossible to move around. I used to use them when I had a big garden to help with crop rotation. Smaller grow bags offer great flexibility since you can move them around to follow the sun or to free up space. Their breathable fabric promotes air pruning, where roots naturally stop growing once they hit the sides, leading to a stronger, healthier root system instead of roots circling around inside a pot. They also allow for excellent drainage, preventing overwatering and root rot while boosting airflow and oxygen to the roots. The material helps regulate soil temperature, keeping roots cooler in the summer and then insulated in colder weather. Grow bags are lightweight, easy to store when not in use, and great for balconies, patios, and small spaces. You can even set them in paths between raised beds to make the most out of every inch and move them around as needed. Use wool pellets. Adding wool pellets to your containers or beds is a smart way to retain moisture and reduce how often you water, especially in hot weather. They're made from natural, renewable sheep's wool, and using them gives a second life to wool that might otherwise go to waste. As they break down, wool pellets improve soil structure, aeration, and water retention while releasing nitrogen and other nutrients that help feed your plants naturally. They also help conserve water by soaking up and holding moisture where it's needed near the roots, which is a big win for container gardeners or anyone growing in raised beds. Plus, they're fully biodegradable and eco-friendly, making them one of the easiest upgrades you can make for healthier soil and stronger plants. Plant companion crops. Companion planting helps you get more out of your small space by pairing plants that support each other, boosting yields, repelling pests, and even attracting pollinators or beneficial insects for natural pest control. Some companions help shade the soil to suppress weeds, while others improve soil health or make nutrients more available. But don't overthink it. There are a lot of so-called rules about which plants don't go together, but in my experience, it's not always a hard rule. For instance, peas and garlic supposedly clash, but I've grown them together just fine. The biggest factor to watch out for is plant size, because you don't want to plant something huge right next to something small that's going to get smothered. Think about your garden as a community. Companion planting is all about building plant relationships that thrive together. Some of my favorite combinations are beets, lettuce, and onions, tomatoes with basil, chives, peppers, cucumbers, or lettuce, corn, cucumbers, and beans, the classic 3 sisters, corn, beans, and squash, and don't forget marigolds. They're compact, easy to tuck into gaps, and great at deterring pests naturally. Use square foot gardening grids. Square foot gardening is one of the most efficient ways to grow more in less space. By dividing your bed into manageable 1 by 1 foot sections, you can plan your layout easily, prevent overcrowding, and make succession planting a breeze. Having a visual grid saves time and reduces frustration even in small raised beds or planters. I like using string and binder clips to create my grids, and in my Garden in Minutes raised bed, I use their square foot watering grid, which doubles as irrigation and a spacing guide. The general spacing formula is pretty simple. You'd put 1 extra large plant per square foot, and then 4 large or 9 medium or 16 small, but always check your seed packets and adjust based on your space and sun exposure. While the rules are easy to follow, you'll want to experiment and adapt as you go. Once established, square foot gardens reduce weeding and watering by planting densely enough to retain moisture and suppress weeds, which is a win for small space gardeners. Grow cut and come again crops. Leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, and kale are ideal for small gardens because you can harvest them multiple times. Just snip the outer leaves and leave the center intact so that the plant keeps growing, giving you more food from one planting. This makes them incredibly space efficient. Be sure to leave enough at the base for the plant to regrow. You can also harvest the greens from crops like beets and bunching onions as they develop underground, getting a double harvest from one plant. In my experience, cut and come again lettuces can be harvested 3 to 4 times before they start tasting bitter and need to be replaced. Use succession planting. This means sowing new seeds every few weeks so you always have something growing and ready to harvest. It's a smart way to avoid harvest gaps, stretch your growing season, and make the most out of every square foot, especially when using fast-maturing crops like lettuce, radishes, and bush beans. In my experience, lettuces are the easiest to succession plant because they can be tucked into almost any open spot in the garden without taking up too much space. I like to direct sow them every 3 to 4 weeks or so. Radishes and bush beans also work well, but it's important to understand the difference between bush and pole beans. Bush beans are determinate, meaning they produce one big flush of beans and then they're done, so replanting every few weeks gives you a steady supply. Pole beans, on the other hand, are indeterminate, and they're going to keep producing as long as you keep picking them so that they don't need to be succession planted in the same way as bush beans. Both are great for small space gardening because one grows vertically and the other is a compact bush variety. Use interplanting. Interplanting, also known as intercropping, is growing different types of crops close together to maximize space. This method allows you to mix fast and slow-growing plants, combine tall and short crops, and pair shallow-rooted plants with deep-rooted ones, all without overcrowding. For example, shallow-rooted greens like spinach or lettuce pair beautifully with crops like carrots or beets, minimizing competition for nutrients. I've grown lettuce next to many different crops like onions and tomatoes. You can plant quick growers like radishes and lettuces alongside slower crops like tomatoes and peppers, harvesting the fast ones early to free up space for the others to mature. Vertical gardening fits into this method perfectly too. Training pole beans or cucumbers to grow up a trellis frees up precious ground space for more crops like corn. While companion planting focuses on beneficial interactions like pest control or nutrient sharing, interplanting is more about spatial efficiency. They work hand in hand, and when used together, these strategies can help you get the absolute most from your garden space no matter what size it is. Mulch, no matter what. Mulching isn't optional in small gardens, it's essential. It saves water, reduces weeds, and builds healthier soil over time. Whether you choose straw, pine needles, leaves, or wood chips, mulch is one of the simplest ways to cut down on daily garden chores while boosting plant health. In small spaces or containers, mulch helps retain moisture, suppresses weeds, and even protects plants from disease by preventing soil from splashing onto leaves. It can deter some pests, reduce erosion, and regulate soil temperature, helping roots stay cool in summer and insulated in cold weather. Plus, it reduces how often you need to water, which is a huge bonus for busy gardeners. Plant cover crops. Cover crops like clover, buckwheat, oats, and hairy vetch are often associated with farms or big in-ground gardens, but they're incredibly versatile even in small spaces. Whether you have raised beds, containers, or a compact backyard plot, planting a short season cover crop between plantings can dramatically improve your soil with very little effort. These crops build soil health, prevent erosion, add organic matter, and even break pest and disease cycles by attracting beneficial insects and reducing harmful ones. Some cover crops, like legumes, also fix nitrogen into the soil, enriching it for future plantings, but this benefit kicks in after they break down. The planting process is simple. Just scatter or broadcast the seed over your soil, lightly rake it in, and keep it watered until germination. In my Zone 8A garden, I plant mine in mid-October. They die back in the winter, and some return in early spring. And then the ideal time to mow and turn them under is right when they flower, before they go to seed, or they can become invasive. I usually wait about 4 weeks after turning them under to let them decompose before planting veggie crops. Cover crops are like magic for your soil, adding a boost of biomass and fertility. And with options for every region and garden need, a little research on sites like High Mowing Organic Seeds will help you find the perfect fit for your space. Compost kitchen scraps. Do not throw out these fruit peels and veggie trimmings. Compost them. Even in small spaces, a countertop bin or compact worm bin can transform everyday kitchen waste into nutrient-rich compost. It's incredibly satisfying to watch your food scraps break down into a powerful soil amendment that is going to feed your garden and eventually feed you. You can mix it right into your soil or make it into compost tea for a quick nutrient boost. I personally love my Vigo kitchen composter. It sits right on the counter, works fast, does not smell, and doesn't attract pests like fruit flies. It's truly a rock star for small space gardeners. Choose high yield crops. When space is limited, it's essential to grow crops that give you the biggest return. High yield plants either produce continuously or offer multiple harvests from a single planting, which means more food from less space. My favorites are cherry tomatoes, cut and come again greens, pole beans, and zucchini. I've even grown zucchini vertically by pruning the lower leaves beneath the first blossoms and staking the plant upward, which is a simple way to save some bed space without sacrificing production. Focus on the foods your family eats most often and build your garden around those. If you want help choosing high-yield, high-value crops, please grab my free quick guide linked below to start planning smarter. Plant compact varieties. Compact or dwarf veggie varieties are specifically bred to grow well in small spaces while still producing a generous harvest. They're ideal for raised beds, containers, and tight garden areas where every inch counts. Choosing smaller, space-efficient types of tomatoes, cucumbers, or squash helps you get more food with less hassle and often with fewer pest or disease issues due to better airflow. I had great success growing space-saver cucumbers in my square-foot garden last summer, and they'd even do well in a hanging basket, I think. I also grew honey patch squash from row 7 seeds next to my corn, and they were fantastic little single-serving butternuts with amazing flavor. Compact crops like these are a small space gardener's best friend. I also grew mini lunchbox peppers last summer, and they were incredibly productive, colorful, and perfect for snacking right off the plant. Plus, they didn't take up much space at all. Grow in unused corners. Unused corners of raised beds or containers offer valuable growing space. Maximize this area by planting compact, fast-growing, or trailing crops that aren't going to compete for light or space. Consider herbs like parsley, cilantro, or basil. Leafy greens such as lettuce and spinach, and small root veggies like radishes, green onions, or carrots. You can also add marigolds or nasturtiums for natural pest control, or even fruiting plants like alpine strawberries. Just be sure to avoid invasive varieties like mint that can take over pretty fast. Use Chip Drop. Chip Drop is a fantastic and totally free service that delivers wood chip mulch straight to your driveway, perfect for garden paths and weed suppression. Instead of using weed fabric, a thick continuous layer of mulch naturally smothers weeds and builds rich, healthy soil underneath as it breaks down. I'm using this method to plant sunflowers that way alongside my greenhouse this year by simply sweeping the mulch aside and planting directly into the dark, nutrient-rich soil beneath the mulch. It's easy to request a delivery on their website, but be prepared, the load is large, so you're going to need a designated drop spot. If you don't need the full pile, an idea is getting together with neighbors and sharing it. While the mulch is free, you can also offer a donation to the local tree company. I usually give $40, and it tends to speed up delivery since it provides more incentive for them to drop it off. Just note that delivery can take a few weeks, so it's best to plan ahead. Use a harvesting apron. The Rue Gardening Apron is hands down my favorite apron that doubles as a harvest basket. It has built-in pockets for your most used tools and a large water-resistant pouch that holds your harvests or even weeds while you garden. When you're ready to empty it, just unclip the bottom and dump your harvest right into your kitchen sink or basket. It's perfect for quick harvests when you don't want to carry a bulky container, and it keeps everything within reach while keeping your hands free. The best part is that it saves space. No need to juggle a huge harvest basket or find extra room for tools when everything is right there on you. Plant edible perennials. Edible perennials are a smart long-term investment for small gardens because they come back year after year, reducing the need to replant and steadily increasing your food production with less effort. I especially love growing chives. They're incredibly versatile, delicious, both fresh and dried, and expensive to buy in stores. They're one of the easiest perennials to grow in a grow bag, and I divide mine every year or so to create tons of free plants. Chives are so hardy that transplanting them is a breeze. I used to grow them along the edge of a 4x4 raised bed, but they reseeded so aggressively that they started to take over. Now I keep them in grow bags where they stay beautifully contained. There are lots of other perennial herbs to consider, but many, like mint, are best kept in containers because they can be invasive. Fruiting perennials like strawberries and blueberries are also high-value, low-effort additions that offer a great return over time, and you can even find compact varieties like top hat blueberries that thrive in small spaces or containers. Perennials save you time, space, and money over the long haul, making them a perfect fit for any efficient food garden. Use the board method for better germination. The board method is a simple but powerful trick for improving seed germination, especially for carrots and other shallow sown crops. After sowing your seeds, place a board, piece of burlap, or any flat material on top to keep the soil cool and moist, which are two things shallow seeds need, but often don't get, especially in hot weather. This helps the top layer of soil from drying out, giving your seeds a better chance to sprout evenly. I started using this method after getting tired of wasting carrot seeds by broadcasting entire rows, only to end up with spotty germination in my hot climate. I also hated thinning all those tiny seedlings. Planting a few seeds every few inches saves seeds and time. Once your seeds start sprouting, just prop the board up to protect the tiny, delicate seedlings from harsh sun or heavy rain until they get a bit stronger. It's a total game changer for seeds starting in tough conditions, and if you don't have boards on hand, you can use burlap, cardboard, or any material that stays in place and holds in moisture. Just make sure it's not going to blow away. And lastly, don't compare your garden with someone else's garden. It's easy to get caught up in picture-perfect gardens on social media, but every garden is different, and so's every gardener. Your space, your time, your climate, and your goals are all unique. A smaller garden or simpler garden doesn't mean it's less successful or productive. In fact, maximizing what you can grow in your space is the most empowering thing you can do. Keep your eyes on your own garden, learn as you grow, and let your garden reflect your real life, not somebody else's. You don't need a giant backyard or endless time to grow a garden that truly feeds your family. With a few smart strategies and space-saving hacks, you can turn even the tiniest garden into a productive, beautiful, and low-stress source of food. The key is working with your space and your lifestyle, not against them. I hope these tips help you grow more with less and fall in love with your small space garden. And if you're not sure what to grow for the biggest impact, grab my free guide with 25 high-value crops that are worth your time because they offer big returns in small spaces, and I'll show you exactly when to plant each one so you can put them on your calendar and plan for maximum harvests. It's linked below, and it'll help you plan a garden that feeds your family and fits your life. And as always, thank you for watching, and please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you in the next one.